Greetings! Welcome back to Randomtronic. Today I have a new multimeter to have a look at. It's this one here, MASTECH MS8261 series, to be precise, MS8269 precisely. I'm not sure why it says series. There is a number of multimeters in this series. This one got me interested because it measures inductance. Not so common, it's almost a LCR meter. Let's have a look on how it's built, what's inside, and whether it's any good or not. And here is the meter. This is the box it came in, and yeah, as you can see, there are a few different specs. This one is the MS8269 and it's the manual ranging multimeter. It has capacitance, resistance and inductance. And that's the only one in the range that has inductance, but at the same time it hasn't got any frequency measurement, which is a bit of a shame, but I guess they sacrificed that for the inductance measurement. And yeah, AC volts, DC volts. Another thing is it's a really shame because in terms of DC current it's only got 200 milliamp range. It hasn't got any lower than that, and yeah, in electronics it's often useful to measure very little current. So those are the drawbacks of it, but other than that it seems interesting. Powered by a 9V 6F22 battery, and they claim it's Cat 2 rated for 1000 volts or Cat 3 for 600 volts. I'm not too sure. Let's see how it's made. Oh, by the way, in the box you get the standard K-type probe for temperature measurement and a little adapter, which, yeah, you can attach the K-type probe to it, or you can turn it into a transistor tester, which, yeah, it's not a very useful thing. I guess you can see if it's working or not, but I've got my component tester more for this. The meter itself, the leads, feel reasonably soft. They do have written on the rating, so they say 2000 volts, 80 degrees C. So yeah, well, at least there is some writing on them, and the probes themselves do have a few marks: max 10 amps, 1 kilovolt Cat 2, or if you put those little shrouds on, which have been supplied as well, then it's 1 kilovolt Cat 3 or 600 volt Cat 4. Okay, I'm not too sure. It depends on what's inside of the meter, and the probes themselves could be okay, I guess. They are not reasonable, very sharp, pointy, but not very sharp. I mean, I'm pressing quite hard and I'm making a dent on my finger, but I'm not bleeding, so yeah, they're not needle sharp. And yeah, meter is in a nice green color. It feels solid. Now this whole green thing outside is removable. So this is a rubber over mode. I'm not too happy with the way it's made, because as you can see it's supposed to sit really flush like this, but yeah, it pulls out from underneath because there's a smaller lip that should go underneath the plastic over here to make a seamless joint. Not a big deal, it's just aesthetics, so they could have paid a little bit more attention to it. There we go. So yeah, just rubber injection molded piece. It provides some protection for the plastic. And here is a plastic casing, the back of it, and we've got a holographic sticker, MASTECH QC passed. So that's good, it passed QC. So screwdriver. Oh, by the way, the tilting bail on the back is reasonable, makes it stand up. I'm wondering how will it. Yeah, it's visible even on the camera when on tilting bail, so that's nice. It doesn't produce too many reflections and can be operated without falling over. Right, let's remove the battery compartment in here. To get to it, you have to lift the tilting bail and remove the screws. Now, this meter came without a battery. So I did already install one previously. I wanted to play with the meter, and the first surprise was it's a very inexpensive meter, but we've got metal threaded inserts in the battery compartment, which is fantastic. So I've put the alkaline battery in here. which I'll remove. This again, this didn't come with the meter, but I suspect that's more to do with shipping regulations than anything else. 9 volt 6F22 or equivalent. But metal threaded inserts, it's something really nice, especially on the battery compartment, when, you know, this is, apart from all the other screws, this is going to be the most used one, because yeah, you'll have to change the battery a few times, and if you rip the threads apart on the battery insert, then you'll tape it, and yeah, not nice. It's good to have a metal threaded insert, which they've done, so well done. And I should mention, here is where it came from, some eBay listing, 1896 with free postage. It came here a lot sooner than I expected. It was expected on 9th of May to 2nd of June, but yeah, we are still in April and I've got it already, so really nice. And it actually came from one of the local warehouses, so it was posted from somewhere not far away. But let's go into the item. Do I have the item number? 22237355067. And again, if you're looking for exactly the same one, you can just type in that number and I'll take you to the listing. Okay, let's proceed with the unscrewing. And the main screws, unfortunately, are just regular self-tapping screws. So yeah, technically, if you ever open this, that will be only either because you're curious or you've blown the fuses, which shouldn't happen too often. But let's see if we can take it apart. Now, after I got it, and I used it for a couple of things just to see how it compares, how it is, and yeah, is there a screw underneath? No. I found a really good function of this meter, which I didn't expect in all fairness, but yeah, I'll come to that later, but that's probably the best thing about that meter. Let's see about everything else. So you can see there is some plastic lip which basically overlaps to at least to try to contain a potential explosion inside. And here we have the meter itself. Oh my goodness, this is an absolute mess. Look at this. So this is how they trimmed the 10 amp range resistor. So we've got, right, I need to get a little bit closer. That's better. So as you can see, this is the usual arrangement of a high current capacity shunt resistor, just a piece of wire. And yeah, there's a few blobs of solder on here, and also there is this. So the whole shunt resistor goes to the post on the other side here, but at the same time there is a little bridge connected with a smaller wire. That's the same track that's connected to the end. So basically this was too high of a resistance, so they trimmed it down by soldering a wire on here. It was hand soldered and it made a mess basically. It's not pretty at all. And they've connected it here just to basically shunt it down to here. This here, which is soldered in place of a fuse, which I suspect this will be a metal oxide varistor. Strange looking one. And yeah, chip on board, so they've had a provision for a standard chip, but of course blobbing the silicon directly onto the PCB is far cheaper than encapsulating it and soldering afterwards. This will come out as a one unit. There we go. It does. Banana plug connectors have got those inserts around them, so just so those don't spread too far apart and then stop making contact. Build quality compared to this little thing that I took apart some time ago, I am really not impressed with this. It's a piece of junk. Where are the fuses? Is there any fuses on here? Oh, there is one. Now I see it. Here. Oh, this is the... You know what? If I put this thing in Mr. Jules, that would make a really nice explosion. No, this is junk. Not good at all. So yeah, if you come across this meter and you decide to purchase it, please bear in mind that, yeah, this is not Cat 3 or Cat, it's any Cat rating. Yeah, this can be only used on very low energy battery operated circuits. This is not safe at all. But anyways, let's remove, we've got 4 screws over here, 2 here and 2 here. Let's remove those and see what's underneath that plastic. And what we have, oh come on, there's still one catch, there we go. What we have is nothing, just the PCB with all the through holes that have been hand soldered, so all the pots and the buzzer, and not much else, and the LCD that sits on just a piece of double-sided tape and zebra strip. And here is the rotary switch. Now, rotary switch, actually I haven't got anything bad to say about this because it works quite well. I'm so disappointed with the lack of fuses in here. I might even ask to return it because this is not good. There are 2 PTCs, the thermistors on here, doing some protection, but overall I wouldn't call this Cat 2 or 3 rated really for any sort of reasonable voltage. And quite a lot, surprisingly quite a lot of trim pots on here, so it seems everything here has been tweaked and adjusted to comply with something. And yeah, I haven't got much confidence in this anymore. Guess what? I was just putting it together and I've put the battery wrong way round. By accident, okay, silly me. What's the big deal? It should have some sort of reverse polarity protection. But then I heard a pop and smoke started coming out of this. So yeah, I can smell something's gone. Look at this. This is a joke. So, was this a diode? Whoa, it stinks. Metal threaded inserts and such a crappy design, can't believe it. Look, here is the top, the blew up from the top of it and jumped somewhere inside, so that's part of the diode. And then we've got, yeah, here is the rest of it, and a lot of it has gone all white, and yeah, it basically turned into ash. This could be a capacitor. Ah, this is bullshit. So yeah, let's put some solder in, some fresh solder, that will help. I've got a feeling this was a cap. Okay, let's try to clean it with some acetone. Yes, it was a capacitor, and look, it's all, everything got charred underneath. The whole PCB charred. I can't believe this. Wow. So there you go. I know I should have watched the battery more carefully, but yeah, if it's possible to enter it backwards, then they should have put some protection in line with the battery. That would be the sensible thing to do. Not necessarily the cheapest, but sensible. Oh, I'm pissed off right now. Okay, here it is after a while, and I've scratched it a little bit, and it seems the FR4 is not charred all the way through. It's just been surface burned, but everything else seems okay. So now, should I risk putting another capacitor in here? Let's see if it switches on at all. I mean, it should switch on with that cap completely fine. Positive to the left, so positive to the left. Sadly, this meter does not switch on anymore at all. Probably more of those caps went, and probably some ICs. No reverse battery polarity protection whatsoever. So a complete and utter junk. Very poor design. I actually thought MASTECH would be somewhat reasonable in terms of build quality. Maybe comparable to Unity, but clearly it's not. This meter is either a knockoff or is a complete junk, and all the MASTECH stuff is junk. Yes, not good at all. Anyways, I'm going to put this together, place it in an appropriate place, bin, because this is just a waste of money and time, and yeah, you can use this as a precaution. You know, when you buy cheap meters, always do open them up and see what's inside. Build quality and input protection on this is inexistent. It couldn't even protect itself from a stupid user who put the battery backwards. Well, what's the big deal? It should have. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and please do subscribe for more random electronics related stuff where I do stupid stuff like this. But yeah, for the time being, take care.